Hi, I'm Chris Coven. I'm the founder of Partner Referral Club, also known as Parc, P-A-R-C. If you want to know more about us, you can find us at parclegal.org. We're a community for law partners who are both outstanding academic and professional credentials. And our mission is to increase the number and the quality of client referrals within our private community. And we're very excited to be working with a world-class Chief Marketing Officer, Stephanie Morone. Stephanie has worked at a number of AM law firms you can see on the screen, as well as other mid-size and small firms. She's an incredible resource for members of the Parc community. And she's also available for a limited number of fractional CMO roles. And so anyone who's interested in speaking with Stephanie about that work she's generously offered her time to speak to anyone about that at a convenient time. So once a month, Stephanie's here and she shares her legal marketing secrets. I've learned that when Stephanie's available, it's best for me to be quiet and just listen. So I'm going to try to do that right now. Try to hold your questions till the end, your verbal questions. However, you can use the chat window to ask questions by text, and I will try to keep an eye on that. So Stephanie, without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to you.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for organizing this. And thank you guys for coming back. I know we ran out of time last time. So I'm here as a resource. We have this closed group that I posted a couple of resources in yesterday. I hope you guys will be part of that group because that is a safe place and a great place to post resources. And I hope you'll all link in with me because I post quite a bit of content every day, on my blog, but also on LinkedIn, etc. So you can please feel free to, connect with me. I'm going to give everybody homework today for our next session. And then Chris, in a month, I'd like to revisit the homework. Should I let Gary in? We like Gary, right? I'll let him in. All right. This program that I'm giving you homework wise, it's going to be really worth your while to do, right? You may have a marketing person at your firm. Great. Do this in conjunction with it. If not, consider me like your marketing coach. Okay. I also have a 2021 business plan, marketing business plan for anybody who wants to do it. It's something I just launched with my clients and I will give it to you guys and work on it with you in a future session. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments, in the chat. We can do that too, because, listen, social and content is very important, of course, but we've also got to do traditional business development as well, which I don't think that we should, put aside. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, these are some of the firms at which I've been. I have had tasteful work done, which is why I look young. My first career was writing the horoscopes and a marriage column at Redbook magazine, which I made up because I was not married, nor am I, still not married 20 years later, and I made up the horoscopes. So just so you know, that's my claim. I became into this industry because one of my, I moonlighted at night at a private equity fund in New York, and they used Paul Weiss as their lawyers, and they were looking for an in-house editor, writer, and it paid really well. And that's how I wound up in this industry. And I know it's going to be a very lucky month for Stephen Brodsky because of my horoscope abilities, Stephen. So this might be the month that you want to do those things that you haven't been doing. Okay. All right. I talked about this. I'm not going to get into it. I hate social distancing. I hate the term or physically distancing, but LinkedIn gives you so many opportunities. We've got to pivot. You guys remember I talked about this. You have to realize that there are so many generations in the workforce right now. In fact, there are 5, which changes the way in which we communicate to our audiences. And a lot of our clients are getting younger and younger. And just to note, a shout out to the baby boomers here. Baby boomers are very socially social media savvy because their kids and grandkids are on social. So don't discount them as being, oh, they want a printed copy of a client alert, or they don't know anything about social. They do. I'm an Xer. I didn't grow up with it, but I learned it. And now it's part of my everyday. Millennials, which are increasingly becoming our workforce, and as our clients get younger, they grew up with social. It's part of their lives. So the lines between them in terms of professional and personal are much blurrier. So I have a rule that I really don't like to accept friend requests on on Facebook, or my Instagram, my personal Instagram, from people I work with, right? You have to decide this for yourself, okay? I prefer to keep my personal life personal and my private life private. If you're going to accept people on Instagram, first of all, everyone needs to have an Instagram that's locked down and private. Second of all, never post anything that you wouldn't want someone to screen share and potentially put on the front page of the New York Times. Third of all, the only thing you can make private on Instagram are your stories, okay? It's very important to know. Different on on Facebook. You can set audience selectors so only certain people can see your content. So I feel more comfortable accepting a friend request from someone on Facebook. You should also know that no one knows if you've declined their request or if you've ignored it. Same goes on LinkedIn, on any social platform, okay? And even if you don't accept someone on LinkedIn, they can still choose to follow you if you have that ability enabled on your LinkedIn profile. So if you've ever seen on your notification that someone is following you, that's what that means. Don't hesitate to remove that, or you can also you can block people, you can delete people, you can remove people from your feed. I can show you how to do all of these things. Okay, I'm not going to go into why social media. I'm not going to go into sales tools, although this is a new slide of mine. I am going to go into sales a little bit later, and let you guys, just talk about this a little bit later. I mentioned this last time. I would prefer that. Oh, I think Stephen, you disagreed with me on this actually when I said that you should, lawyers could. Was it you? I think somebody said that like it's okay for lawyers to be on TikTok, or someone. Maybe it wasn't you. Okay, don't go on TikTok. One of the things I really want to point out is that, and I changed some of these slides, and we're going to go into slides I never got to cover. One of the most important marketing parts of your marketing strategy has to be email marketing, okay? Because I can teach you all the tricks of LinkedIn, social, every part of marketing, but I cannot promise that every single person will see all of your posts. There is absolutely no way to do that. It's also part of LinkedIn's algorithm. It's part of LinkedIn, like the time of day someone's on LinkedIn. But I can promise you that if you have a good email mailing list, you are going to be in great shape. So you should set up a good email marketing system. You can do this for hardly any money. You can do it through MailChimp or Constant Contact. What you need are good contacts. You need someone managing it, and you need something to say. And what do you say? You write client alerts, basically blog posts, content of value. What's keeping your clients up at night? There have been so many updates lately related to different things going on. Like, if you're in the, the Consolidated Appropriations Act affects so many lawyers. So I would write about that, timely issues, and also what I call evergreen pieces. Evergreen pieces are gifts that keep giving, like why you need a will, what to do when you get a subpoena, what to do if you're going to do you want to do a qualified opportunity zone, something like that. Those are timeless pieces of content that every practice has, and that's going to be part of your homework today. Those also will benefit you immensely because of SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. Everything you do online and everything you do on LinkedIn ties back to your search engine optimization. So you want to make sure you have good Google search results. Okay, I'm going to skip over why LinkedIn. We're here, we know it. There's 750 million people plus on LinkedIn, and your LinkedIn profile is your #2 Google search result, okay? Okay, I'm going to skip over this. I want to talk about invisible user trend. I mentioned this. A lot of people are looking at your content, but they're not engaging with it. This may cause the number of likes, comments, shares, views to be lower, but know that everybody's looking at you whether you like it or not. And this is why Like someone asked me, does it matter if I use my LinkedIn profile often or not? Will it still be my #2 search result? Yes. Okay. Doesn't matter. It's the power of LinkedIn's clout within Google. Okay. It also means that people are vetting you. They're going to Google. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this statistic last time, but I want to. 80% of law firm website visits, regardless of the size of the firm, come through Google. Okay. So if I know how to get to your firm, I know when I look for Chris Colvin, right? I'll go into Google. I'm lazy. I'll type in Chris's name. I may bypass his website bio. Oh, and by the way, congrats to Chris on his new job. I may bypass Chris on his law firm website. I may go right to LinkedIn because I want to know who he knows, who I know, and other commonalities. The other statistic to know is that 80% of people who go to a law firm website bypass the homepage and go to lawyer bios directly. Okay. So the most important page on your firm website is your bio, and make sure you update that more than once a year. If anyone is interested in a program on how to write a really good bio, a long form bio, a short bio, I am happy to do that, as well as any practice area descriptions, and also how to write a darn good client alert or blog post, because so many of them suck and so many of them are terrible in terms of the headline. And if you don't capture people's attention with your headline, you're never going to capture them. My one word of advice with bios, because today one of your homework items is going to be to rewrite or write a LinkedIn bio. Take your website bio and break it up by category. Like, so if you are in litigation and you're a commercial litigator and you have certain sectors in which you specialize, do subheadings and bold those so that it's not long paragraphs. You have to make it easy for the reader to understand what you do. If you're an intellectual property lawyer, and let's say you do copyright, trademark, and patent, break it down by those areas, and bullets are your best friend. Okay. Okay. The good news is bar is very low. I went through this already. I'm going to keep going, but I want to talk about LinkedIn's algorithm. Don't assume that all of your connections see all of your posts. In fact, assume that most will not. If you are not someone who posts regularly, you should know that LinkedIn shows only your posts to only a few certain select contacts. And those people are people with whom you've engaged. Okay. If there's little to no engagement with your post within the first few hours, LinkedIn won't show it to anybody else. What affects this? One, the time of day you post. The best time of day to post, commuting hours in the morning, afternoon, followed by lunchtime. Don't post anything Monday morning or anything Friday. I don't like posting Fridays at all, but you can post Fridays, just don't post anything after 12 p.m. And use your local time, obviously, with this. You can use certain tools to schedule posts so that you don't have to stay awake in the middle of the night to post things, or if you're too busy, or if you're a one-person shop. And there are some free tools and some paid tools that enable you to do that. Same thing goes for Twitter, by the way, although Twitter is very different than LinkedIn and Facebook is very different, okay? Instagram also, I will do another program on those channels. What I want to say on those other channels is don't discount, particularly with Facebook, that you may have family members and friends who don't really understand what you do. They think you're a lawyer, but they don't know what you do. If you explain what you do in lay people's terms and don't sound boastful, they may be inclined to then send you a matter or something like that. So don't discount the fact that people in your social circle would like to refer business to people they know and like. So this is not the place like Facebook to talk about, I just became a super lawyer, or I closed a $350 million mezzanine loan, blah, blah, blah. You sound like you're full of yourself. But it's a way to talk about like what you do in terms that make you sound like you love what you do and you know what you do. Okay, so show versus tell. I'll talk about that a little bit later. If you have an Instagram strategy, it's very different than LinkedIn. Okay, it's very visual driven and the pictures are a very different size. So we'll go there in a minute. Also in Twitter, same thing. There's a very big difference between reactions you have to posts and people have to you. So, okay, so a comment is worth more than a like, and a share is worth more than a like. So if you want to get noticed by somebody, a referral, a prospect, a client, you should like their posts. Even better if you share it. If you're uncomfortable sharing, comment on it. Congratulations, Jim, on a job well done. Okay. And then the thing is with LinkedIn, it will penalize you if you only post once a month. If you post regularly and consistently, it'll start to notice you and it'll move up. A lot of LinkedIn's back end is done by AI, but there are humans that do a lot of the work in terms of deciding what posts move up to be noticed.
Hey, Stephanie, quick question that I had.
Yeah.
When you share someone else's post, does that then go into the feed of all of their LinkedIn connections, or what
No.
exactly happens mechanically?
No, it goes into your feed.
Okay.
It goes into, if you share their post, you're sharing it to your connections.
Your connection. So each of your connections, if they look at their main LinkedIn page, it will then scroll by. It'll be one of the things that scroll by.
Maybe.
Okay, it's a little murky.
Yeah, which is why you can never spam anybody on LinkedIn, and which is why you need to post often. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah,
It won't go to their friends at all.
Right.
It just, that's not how it works. Although it could potentially be seen by somebody if somebody in their world likes it.
Got it. So probably you should not share if you think it's something that may not be relevant to your own connections, right? But if you think it is,
right, then you could
sure.
just like it. Now that still may show up in your feed, but that is a better thing to do. You should only share things that make sense for you and your brand. I would say share, selectively, but you can certainly comment on their post, and that helps to build relationships. Okay.
Yes, that makes sense.
Now, if you comment on their post and you have a good comment, it's very likely that somebody in their network can notice you. I got a new client that way. Okay. So like I made a comment on someone's post and I said something, I guess, that somebody thought was insightful, and they called me and I did a project for them. That's how LinkedIn works in an effective business development way.
Got it. Steve had a question. What do you mean by often when you say post often on LinkedIn?
For you guys, I would try to post once or twice a week. That's it.
And
if you
do
really
do it
want
between
to go,
Tuesday and Thursday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday. It could be, you could do it 2 days in a row. I would prefer when I say post, if you are just dipping your toes, just like stuff and start to comment, start to get more comfortable with the platform. Your firm should be sharing things that you could then share. That's the easiest way, right? So did I say this? Okay. There's a difference between being a curator and a creator, right? You could follow various publications and your firm. And by the way, if you are a small shop or a solo, you absolutely need to have a LinkedIn company page, okay? You can share stuff from your own page, but you need to do it for a number of reasons. One is analytics. Your LinkedIn company page gives you analytics about your audience and the ability to host events and all these other things that you would not be able to do as an individual. Okay. Second of all, even if you did share it from your page and you shared it from your company page, like I said, the odds of you being able to spam anyone or pissing anybody off is like 0.001 because of LinkedIn's algorithm. Okay. And third of all, the odds that somebody like you can invite people to follow your company page. People will take you up on it, but other people won't. There's going to be overlap between your company page and your firm page and you, but there's going to be people who don't follow your firm. So you want to hit them in both areas. Okay. And the best way of all to hit them is what? Email. Okay. Email. So let me go back to this. So I mentioned this last time. I really would love everybody to set up a Google alert about themselves, their clients and their prospects and their competitors. Most of all, track what they're doing. I track client alerts and events that my competitor firms are doing so that I can bring back to my clients and say, listen, I want you to know so-and-so is doing this. Your competitors may be a firm of your size, a solo, a big firm with a niche practice. So think about the fact that competition means very different things with respect to a certain practice, right? And so make sure you're aware of the fact that there could be a very small firm that is very good at one particular area of something, but they're not a household name. They're still a competitor of yours. And if you're trying to come up with them, look at the people you see across the table, and also look at the tool on LinkedIn that says people you may know, or people, sorry, the people who viewed you have also viewed tool. That will tell you. Personally, I turn that tool off because I don't want people to look at my competitors. And I would recommend that you turn that tool off too. I didn't feel this way, but now I feel this way recently, okay, after reading up on this. Okay.
So Stephanie, we had a question.
Yes.
Someone asked, how do I know if someone is following me on LinkedIn?
Okay, I can show you that. I'm gonna, when I finish the slides, I'm gonna go scroll through my own LinkedIn and show you guys a bunch of cool things, and I'll show you how you can tell.
And maybe show us also how to turn off that show similar people thing that you were talking about.
I can show you that. It's in the privacy settings. Some of the things, by the way, guys, you can't do on your mobile device. You have to do it at a desktop. So just know that. And I hope everybody has the LinkedIn app downloaded to their phones too. Okay, so these are my success tips. You know, adding value. You never need to sell yourself on LinkedIn. You're just gonna, you know, even if you want to talk about that you were named a super lawyer, you can write it in what I call humble brag terms. You know, I'm so honored and humbled to be part of, you know, named a super lawyer, and to be in a group of great people, and then tag those great people, right? One of the things I want to mention is please don't mass tag people in posts. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but like that's the equivalent of LinkedIn spamming. So like don't tag 30 people in a post because you think it'll get noticed. You'll just wind up annoying people. And I wound up unsubscribing from multiple people that way. And then please use, like I said, email in conjunction with this. Okay, everybody here should have a personal editorial calendar where they're tracking the posts that they're going to make. I find this like much better than doing a read. Stop that. You're a bad girl. That was not directed at anybody on this call. You create like having a calendar where you're writing posts and you have them already done is so helpful. If you want my template for this, I will give it to you. So I use this template for firms, big and small, and for individuals. And I manage a lot of lawyers' personal social, and the template can be adapted for all of them. Okay, and then reuse and repurpose, like I said. Okay. Oh, curation. This is the easiest way to dip your toes in social. If you see something, for example, that I wrote that you think is interesting, you could share it. If you see something Chris wrote or your firm, you can just simply hit the share button, put a few lines of text, and you must write some intro text. Okay. And extra points if you use a hashtag or 4 or 5. And I would really like you to do all of those things. You can also share articles that have already been written by news sources. So I can give you a list of news sources depending on your practice area, but it could be, you know, a good one that I've been following is Vogue Business. One of my clients is an in-house counsel at a shoe designer, and he says that that's terrific for business articles. Inc., the Huffington Post, Forbes, Fortune, etc. Okay, earned versus owned media. Okay. Owned media is when you are quoted in a publication. That's earned media. Oh my God, they're both barking at me. You have no idea what's going on here. I wish I could show you guys. And owned media is my biggest arsenal of tools, which is reusing your bios, practice descriptions, quotes, blog posts, doing Q&As, talking about your pro bono initiatives, the first 100 days of a lateral. There's so many things. Old pictures, right? You could feature firm history. I don't care if you've been around 5, 10, 25 years, 100 years. Everyone's got some history. Okay, I'm not going to do Twitter today, but I can do it in the future. I think I mentioned this. A great piece of content is every webinar you go to, you can do a little 5 takeaways piece or 2 takeaways. And I want to skip over this because I want to get to LinkedIn. Everybody, part of your homework is going to be to write a timeless evergreen piece. Like, so this is one about why you should create a will, right? And I said every practice has these hashtags I mentioned last time. Does anyone want me to go over what a hashtag is? No? Okay. I'm not going to then. I will just tell you that this is how you find hashtags. These are bad hashtags because these are too many, these are too few. And this is, you can see in this example, I've tagged people in this post, right? And so tagging people in a post means they turn blue, not the actual person, but their name. And then they get a notification that you tag them in the post. Okay. And I used hashtags that I researched here. Okay.
Hey, Stephanie, can I share a little tip that someone taught me that I think is cool? If you're tagging someone, like let's say you're tagging Stephanie Marone, if you type in her name, she'll appear. You can click on her little mini profile and it'll make her name blue. That will tell her that you tagged her. But the cool thing is you can actually backspace over the last name and it'll just keep her first name. So it'll just say Stephanie. And sometimes in conversations on LinkedIn, it looks a little more informal and flows better if you just use their last name. So that's a little tip that someone else told me about, which I think is really handy.
Yeah, I love that tip. I don't do that as much as I should, and I should. I like that. Thank you, Chris. All right, this is kind of where we were, and I'm going to go through a lot of this, right? We want to dig into LinkedIn. Okay, number one, if you have multiple LinkedIn profiles, you need to make sure that you combine them. Okay, if anyone falls in that category, put it in the chat and let's talk about it. I did a training with a lawyer this morning who had the 4, which is the most I've ever seen. She had 2 from a prior firm. Her secretary set her up at another firm. She couldn't get access to it. If anyone is having trouble getting into LinkedIn and doesn't have access to that email address, I can also help you with that, okay? One of the places where lawyers fall flat is the connections, okay? And I think I mentioned this last time, but we are going to talk about this and we're going to come up with a plan for this. And then participation. This is why I spoke so much about what you can post. I want you to feel comfortable posting, but you also have to be okay with the fact that in the beginning, you may not get that many likes on a post. But remember, part of it's that invisible user trend, which is that people sometimes don't engage in content. They just consume it without liking it. And 2, unless you post consistently and regularly, LinkedIn won't show your posts to a wide audience. Okay, this is my famous orchid analogy. I kill all plants, including orchids. If you have tips on how to keep an orchid or any plant alive, please also put that in the comments. It's not just as easy as putting an ice cube in there because I'd kill them. So I bring up this because LinkedIn is like a plant, like an orchid. You have to feed it in order for it to flourish and grow, okay? Which is why you can't just sit back and accept your LinkedIn requests. You actually have to send them out. Now, gone are the days where you personalize them, in my opinion, particularly if you're sending LinkedIn requests from your phone. Nobody expects you to do it a personal request because it's very difficult to find it there. And it's very commonplace to just send a LinkedIn request without putting someone's information, a personal note. If you haven't spoken to someone in like 10, 20 years, you can certainly write a note, but you have to do it from your desktop. Okay, all of your employees, whether you have 2 employees or 100, need to know how to use social so that you can tap into their valuable networks because like I said, a lot of their connections aren't going to be following your company. That's why it's so important. So make sure they understand how to use it. What I find the best way to do is to do a training like this and actually walk them through my screen. It's a lot scarier than it seems, but I know there's a lot of steps and people get nervous about, oh God, what if I make a mistake on a post? By the way, if you make a mistake on a post or you want to edit it, you can go and edit a post. And if you want me to show you how to do that, also put that in the comments. Once you upload an image, that's the only thing you can't delete. You can delete everything else and you can take the whole darn post down if you don't like it. Okay. I want everyone to get to all-star status. If you are at intermediate, you shouldn't be. Okay. There's advanced. So there's intermediate, advanced, all-star. How do you get to All-Star? You fill out all the sections. If any of you are starting to build a profile from scratch, or you have, a very low number of connections, don't feel disheartened by this, because it's never too early or late to start using LinkedIn. I commend you. Do it today, okay? And by the way, Google takes about 2 weeks almost to crawl your page, and no one cares how many connections you have, and because they're so busy caring about themselves, okay? You must accept connection requests, but you also must send them as well. Here's how you get All-Star status. You fill out all the sections, basically. That will continue to, you'll see sometimes, like, you'll get All-Star status one day and you'll be filling things out. You want a great headline. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I have a special present for everyone on this call, actually, too, a free gift that I'm giving you all that I'll discuss in a minute. And then LinkedIn groups have exploded. Okay, this is so complicated and I'm not going to get into it, but basically your first degree connections are people you've approved. Secondary connections are the first degree connections of your secondary connections, and your third degree connections are the first degree connections of your secondary. Forget it. I'm just going to have a drink. Okay.
Hey, Stephanie, we did have a question,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure I entirely understand, but someone asked, how do we check our analytics on LinkedIn?
I know what you're asking.
Okay.
Depends what level of an account. Can you, whoever asked that question, are you talking about a personal?
That was me.
Gary, are you asking about your company page or you personally?
I think it's a company page, but I don't remember. I mean, I signed up so long ago. I only have one page, and I only really want to deal with one page.
I'm going to show you guys how to do check analytics in a minute, and I'll show you I'll share my screen. Okay. Make sure, everyone, that you update your contact info. You have your vanity URL. Please fill in all of your experience. So I work with a lawyer right now who's only been at his current firm for 7 years as a lateral. And that's all he has on his LinkedIn profile. It looks like he's been practicing law for 7 years when he's been practicing law for 27 years. So go in and fill it in. Even if your law firm, a former firm, is defunct, or you did something different, it's okay. Skills, you can reorder, delete, or add skills. You can pin 3 skills to the top of your profile. Please delete if someone recommended you for law. That is stupid. You should remove it, right? Your education, keep it brief and high level. And then volunteer activities, don't go into too much detail. You can put things in there. You can also put in publications and speaking engagements and certifications and a whole bunch of stuff. We can talk about those things. I know a lawyer at Skadden whose LinkedIn profile prints out to be 42 pages. That is what not to do on LinkedIn. Okay, that's TMI. Too much. If you are in that position, let me know. We'll go through it and we'll select highlighted things. Okay. One of my tips is also to make sure that you are you make the decision of whether or not you want to be completely visible, semi-visible, or anonymous when you're searching other people. This is a personal choice and there's no right or wrong answer. I had another firm, a law firm today, tell me that, well, why would we hide who we are? And then another firm was appalled by that. Of course, we're going to, not show our names. I don't like showing people that I'm looking at their profiles personally. You may decide that you are fine with that. That's up to you, but you can go and set your visibility. The default is to show everyone exactly who you are. And then sharing profile edits. So a change happened on LinkedIn that if you make changes to a prior position, it won't show anybody those changes anymore. Thank God, because it was really confusing. But if you want to make changes to your current role, it will ask you, the toggle is set to green to show people notifications. So if you change your title or change something about your current role, even if you've been in that role for 8 years, it could potentially show up as an update to people. So I want you to go in and toggle that to no. How to do it, just toggle it from green to this, and I can show you how to do it later. Okay, you can print out all of your LinkedIn connections, which is great. Oh, actually, you know what this is? This is who can see your connections. Make sure everyone can see your connections. It's not worth it. Otherwise, I mentioned this, I think, last time. If you're worried about someone being able to tell if someone's a client, they can't. Like, you may know someone from law school. You may know someone from who knows, a committee. You know, you can make your connections not visible. I don't know that that really is the best way to use LinkedIn. You can export a list of all of your connections with their contact info, not complete contact info, only the contact info that they've given permission to download, but you can print every single name out. And I can show you guys how to do that. It takes about 24 to 48 hours to request that information. I think you should do that, guys. You know why? Because if you want to do an email newsletter or a card, a holiday card or whatever it is, most people don't update their information anymore, like, and send you a V card, or you have a lot of connections probably not in your Outlook. So that's why you want to do it. Also, if you didn't do a holiday card this year, may I suggest that it's not too late to do a New Year's card, an e-card. I didn't recommend to any of my clients to do anything last week because of what happened in DC. And I don't want to do anything before the inauguration. But that last week of January is a great time to say, listen, we're looking forward. It's the start of the new year. We're looking forward to seeing you in person and working with you, etc. So I might recommend that you consider doing just like an e-greeting to just stay top of mind. The point with this all social email is to stay top of mind, because there are a lot of people who do what you do, and it's easy to get forgotten or lost in the shuffle.
Hey, Stephanie, we got another question. I don't think I fully understand it, but maybe you do. Someone asked, what's the difference between volunteer and organizations section?
Oh yeah, organizations could be, so organizations can be, it's like a catch-all for a bunch of random things. And then volunteer activities are like, if you have a volunteer, so you can basically put things in different areas, but it's very fluid. Let me walk you guys through it. I'm going to share my screen in a minute. Guys, just take away from this. Here's what you want to take it away. Update your contact info. Make sure it's completely updated. And you can put 2 websites in here. Okay, so take advantage of that if you want to put a link to your bio and your company website. Everyone needs to have a LinkedIn cover image. Here's what my gift is to you all. I'm going to make you a cover image. Okay, if you want me to. These are examples of a few cover images. I think I showed these last time. If you don't have a cover image, look what happens. And then look what it looks like. You don't want that. How many of you, do a lot of you have this gray figure now? Okay, so a lot of you have optimized it. If you need help optimizing it, please send me a message and tell me you need help and I'll do it. The other most important thing on your profile, please, is to update your headline. That is the line under your name. If you don't optimize this, it will pull your current title. And you want to update this and make it something, interesting. The reason why also it's so important is look where it gets pulled into Google. It gets pulled right in there. Okay. Everyone needs to claim their public profile URL, and everyone needs to have an about section, a bio that is not boastful, not how great you are, written in the first person, please, and short. Okay. Don't talk about yourself like, Mr. Brodsky is accomplished, blah, blah, blah. No. Okay. Lay people's terms, casual. Okay. Fix your bios, please. That's another thing. Cause like, I'm looking at you and I want to be, I want to relate to you. If you're not comfortable just talking about yourself in the first person, look at the example on the top left. Charlie, talks about himself in the third person, but it's short and right to the point. Okay. Okay, let me skip over. This is my #1 business development tool on LinkedIn, which is notifications, because it gives you reasons to be in touch with someone. So it sounds so stupid. It's low hanging, but it is a great way to get back in touch with someone. So congratulating someone for 5 years at a company. People are getting new jobs, by the way. I'm seeing it since November. So-and-so starting a new position. You can just simply click that button and says, say congrats. I'd prefer you personalize it. This is how you get back in touch. I can give you 4 to 5 examples of lawyers I know who brought in new business just by virtue of reigniting relationships here. Okay, I want everybody to get to 501 connections. If you're already at 501, I want you to keep going. Here's why. So quality, not the quantity, but look what happens. Let me show you guys. Look what happens when you get to 501. It says 500 plus, okay? If you have less than 500, it will show the exact number of connections you have. Okay. And let me skip over some stuff. I'm going to give you guys your connections plan. It involves you. This is so you can come up with more people to link in with. It's going to involve you thinking about former firms, companies, alumni, trade associations, pro bono work. You can search for contacts through companies. So you want to search for IBM, you can then search for people within IBM, okay? You can look at your connections, and then you should definitely download your Outlook contacts and work with your secretary or someone to send personalized LinkedIn requests. And when I say personalized, I just mean don't download it and upload it anywhere. There's no easy way to make hundreds of LinkedIn connections at once. Don't do that. You can wind up in a bad place. So if LinkedIn asks you to upload your address book, don't do that. You can do it the other way, okay? Okay, let me skip through some of this stuff to get to, okay. So using LinkedIn for sales. Now I know we don't like to say the word sales. And when I say sales, I just mean more business development, but I would get that spreadsheet of your LinkedIn connections, right? When I say customer, I really mean like client, but add them to a list, okay? Publishing content, it gives you the ability to stay top of mind, be a thought leader. Every day LinkedIn gives you ways to re-engage, like I said, right? This is what you should do. And then you're just able to build relationships so easy. Join groups, okay? Groups are so key on LinkedIn. They give you the ability to meet people. And then, if you want to post things in those groups, that makes sense. But this is a way that you will reach people that your competitors probably aren't doing. Okay. And then how to use LinkedIn groups. I'll give you guys these slides if you're interested. Okay. A few of my favorite LinkedIn tools. You can save your profile to a PDF. I don't know if you knew that, but if you need a CV very easily, this is how you do it. You can hold your cursor down, guys, and you can then like or clap at a post or, love it or say it's insightful or curious about it. I mean, this is silly, but I just want you to know that it's there in case someone does this to your posts. LinkedIn Stories has been a big part of my new marketing strategy and marketing strategy of many of my clients, including I do work for Struck and Levon, and I'm working on LinkedIn Stories every day. You now have the ability to add LinkedIn Stories for companies and tag individuals. You can't add a link and you can't tag an entity, but that's coming. And here are all these ways you can use LinkedIn Stories. Let me tell you why I like, also LinkedIn Stories you can only view on your mobile for now. Why I like LinkedIn Stories, do you see how it puts people at the very top of your mobile? That's why. 24 hours, the content disappears, but it's so great. Okay, for any of you who have a company page, so Gary, you were talking about company page, you can click on the number of followers and you can see exactly who follows your company page. This is why I want you all to have a LinkedIn company page, okay? I can click on that 1279 and look what happens. I can see those people and when they started following me. This is a new tool that happened last year. Most people don't know about it. They don't know they can click on that number, the blue number. Anything blue, guys, you can click on. Here's the issue with this. It's not easy to download this information. I have a Google plugin that I can send to you. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. But look at the treasure trove of info. Don't you want to know which of your competitors have are following you or prospects, etc.? This is great info. Also, please invite people to follow your page. So you see it, I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a way for you to invite your connections to follow your page. And you can only invite somebody once. And if you work with multiple people, you can't spam someone. So you can invite someone and they can decline. And then if Chris and I work together, I wouldn't be able to invite a person that he invited who declined. Okay, so there's no way to spam someone. You should definitely invite people to follow your company page. Okay, Featured section is my favorite tool for 2020, and in 2021, I will show you how to use it on my own LinkedIn in 1 minute, but this is what it looks like. You can pin items to your profile that you have shared, okay? It's amazing because it just, basically they just stay on your profile and help you build a body of work and press mentions. And then, oh, here, you guys, you can see all of the different things you can do on your LinkedIn company page, which are robust. You can invite connections. You can sponsor and update. If anyone wants to know more about LinkedIn advertising, you know, I can cover that at another time. But I was able to build my last firm from 400 followers to 6,800 followers using LinkedIn advertising and LinkedIn ads. So you can post a job. This is free, by the way. Create an event. If you are having a webinar, you can make an event and then share it. Look, this is a company page I manage. You see all the events then are here, and you can invite your connections to join the event. That's what I like about it. Plus, they stay on your profile forever. So you can build a body of work of all these events. And it doesn't have to be a webinar that you are running yourself. It could be a webinar that you were asked to speak at for the New York City Bar or for whatever organization. You can invite your contacts, even if they don't go. It's simply raising your brand awareness, okay? That's why I like it. Okay, I talked about groups. This is how you get a copy of your data and download your contacts. Note that this can take 24 to 48 hours. When I requested my own, it took a while to get, but it's great. Incorporate video and podcast, guys. Think about it. Do you need premium? I know I talked about this last time. Maybe. Do you need Navigator? Maybe. I can do a wholesales program if you want.
Hey, Stephanie, we just have 3 minutes to the
I
top of the
know.
hour.
So. Well, I'm hoping you guys will stay on for 2 more minutes, but I'm at the end, okay? So here's your homework, and I will send this to you all. These are all of the things I would like you to do. The most important one is to update your bio and your LinkedIn profile. This is the best time of year to do it. You shouldn't just do it once a year, but you definitely should do it now. And just start getting active. Start liking and commenting on things, okay? All right. So I mentioned this. This is my LinkedIn QR code trick. I hope you'll do it also. I know Chris is going to yell at me if I take up too much time, but I just want to show you.
No. I know people may have a meeting coming up.
Yeah, no, I know. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. I mean, there are certain things I can show you on my screen if you want to see. I could just take questions. Why don't I take questions? And if there's anything you want me to show you on screen, I absolutely can. What do you guys think?
Well, why don't we wrap up, Stephanie, the recording, because we probably don't want the Q&A
Yeah,
recorded.
absolutely. We can wrap up the recording. I would just say use LinkedIn, use it often. The more you use it, the smarter it will work for you, and it's worth it, and it's not going anywhere, and it's never too early or late to start.
Great. Thank you so much, Stephanie Marone. You're so full of wisdom and experience. And, I think we all benefit here at Parc from having your expertise each month. So for those of you who are in the community, we will be posting all of Stephanie's content to our private member community. If anyone does not yet know how to access that, you can reach out to me. I think you all know how to find me. Anyone can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Just type in Chris, CHRISCOLVIN, Colvin, and you'll find me on LinkedIn and connect with me. You can also find out more about Parc at parclegal.org, PARCLEGAL.org. So thanks again, Stephanie. This was wonderful. I am going to stop the recording, and then for those of you that want to stay after for Q&A can stay after. But thanks again, Stephanie.
You're welcome. Happy to.